We talk about Brandon Mitchell, the juror of
Oh, we talking about him right away? Let's get it.
Has he been nominated for Grifter of the Year?
Yes. He has. He's officially on grifters.com. In fact, I believe I approved his nomination today. Somebody nominated him, and he deserves it.
Let me vote his black ass the fuck up, man. Like, I can't believe. First he fumbled. Now he's fumbling. You know, he was a juror on the Derek Chauvin case.
Yeah,
and he's the only one that's come out and started talking. He flapping his gums. What he don't understand is when you start flapping your gums, white man start doing some research. White man start doing some research. He find old pictures of you. He find old pictures of you with a George Floyd shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
He find old statements you made.
Mm-hmm. Old podcast.
Old podcast.
Old protest appearances.
Old protest appearances.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting off, man. He got to retry. They have to retrial him. They have to.
He filed for it.
That has to be granted.
Yeah.
In a fair country, I mean, I say in a fair country. I'm not saying America's fair. In a fair country, he should be retried because that guy, he was, him getting on the jury, he got on there for clout. He didn't get on there to be fair with justice or anything like that. Just from his appearances and him talking about the case, he clout chasing, man.
I got to speak to my let me see if I can get my attorney on the line. Hold on a second. Call Andrew. Let me see if I get my attorney on the line to see if he can answer this question for us live on air right now and see what the implications are in this. Because I'm just wondering, does this goddamn we are currently live on Hoteps Been Told You. Thank you very much for taking this call.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
So we're talking about juror number 52 in the
Yes.
Chauvin trial. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, this is the juror that has, pretty much come out strongly, on a podcast saying, we've got to get on these juries to influence them. And also the juror that was seen with the BLM t-shirt.
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything else that's come out besides those facts? Those are two that I've heard.
Those are
really the most.
Those are the main
worst.
facts. Yes.
Yeah.
So the question I have for you is, apparently he lied on his questionnaire.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any legal repercussions he could face for lying on that questionnaire, or what sort of penalties is he facing?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what the state of Minnesota necessarily has in terms of their punishment for perjury, but that's perjury, right? So that the crime is perjury, right? So, you've lied to the court, you've lied in documents that are sworn statements. So that's a sworn statement. That's treated just like a deposition, or if you're up there giving testimony. So, you've essentially made a fabricated statement. So he could be punished for that himself. And not to mention the fact that this could create a mistrial if the judge had any fortitude. He probably doesn't, for a lot of good reasons. And it also is a reason it could be appealed.
What do you think? Do you think that what other pieces need to happen for this to be a mistrial?
Well, honestly, this trial has had enough proof, and I said that when we were talking, but this trial has had enough proof for it to be for a mistrial to be called already.
Yeah.
I think what's really got to happen is the judge has to, be comfortable issuing a mistrial. But frankly, I think he's worried about what's going to happen if he declares a mistrial, because he knows, he's a local guy. He lives in that area.
Right.
People know his name. So
is he the one that has to? Is it his decision that has to come from? Yes.
So right now, this is the status of the case, right? So there's two parts. The first part of the case is the guilt phase, right? So we went through the guilt phase of the trial, right? But this, since it's a murder trial, there's actually a second phase, which is the sentencing.
Right.
So the sentencing is a second trial. And in some states, like for example, my home state of Florida, it's a murder trial. There's actually two separate juries. Like there's one jury that comes in for the guilt and a whole separate jury that comes in just for the sentencing. And that is how many years he gets. Because what's up for debate is, you know, if you listen to Maxine, Mama Maxine, she was saying that she wanted to give him more than the statutes than what he should get. Because under Minnesota law, because he's a first-time offender, he should get 12 years. Right? That's the guidelines. But what they're going to ask for is 15. And they said, hey, we're going to be out here on the streets if he's getting less than 15. So, you know, that's still got to be decided. And because of that, it's still in his hands. So right now, he has control to issue a mistrial. Now, like I said, he's probably not going to do that because he's had plenty of opportunities to do this throughout the whole trial. He hasn't done it. So what makes you think he's going to do it this time? I really am skeptical about that. Now, you know, it could happen, but I'm very, very skeptical that this judge is going to do that. I think if anything, he's going to leave it up to the appellate court and say, you know, and think, okay, well, they'll handle it on appeal and this will be possibly overturned.
So it's ultimately his decision unless it goes to the appellate court, and then the appellate court could offer a mistrial.
They wouldn't have a mistrial. They would just say that it was an unfair trial. They didn't get his due process. So a mistrial is declared by the trial court.
Okay.
So he would have to declare the mistrial.
Right.
So, and, you know, and if there's a mistrial, there would be another trial. And that's what he's really trying to avoid, you know, because they don't want to have to do this thing again. I mean, just imagine this whole trial happening again.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be crazy.
I mean, I mean, there would be headlines, there would be news, and of course there would be riots. I mean, there's no doubt.
It would be riots just off the appeal.
Yep.
Just off of it going back to trial. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't imagine doing this thing again, especially, you know, doing it again in the same place with the same, you know, taken from the same county.
Right.
So, yeah, it's enough, though, right now. It's enough proof. I mean, in any other situation, you know, if something like that was found out, that's about the clearest case. Juror 52 is the clearest case of, you know, evidence for a mistrial, because he did not come into that fair and impartial, and he did not come into that, you know, honestly. He lied straight up.
Right.
Now he said in the Post, he told the Post it wasn't a march for Floyd. He said it was an opportunity to be around thousands and thousands of black people to be a part of something. But on the jury selection questionnaire, it also asked prospective jurors about information they had on Floyd, their opinions on Black Lives Matter movement, and more specifically, if they had attended protests or demonstrations against police. He said no. They got him right there.
Yeah, he lied. Yeah, he straight up lied. And he had a Black Lives Matter shirt on at the protest. The jury should have been sequestered. The pure fact that they had to ride through a mob of people on the way to the court lets you already know that they could have been influenced, convinced, nudged, pushed to give a verdict. Shit, nigga, if I was on the goddamn jury, I'd have been scared. Shit, I'd have walked in day one. That nigga guilty. We ain't present the evidence yet, nigga. Y'all ain't about to hang my ass. There's a lot on the line. And you know how the white liberal media do. They'll dox your ass.
Right.
It will dox you if you don't go along with your agenda. So I would be scared for my life too. You think I'm going to choose Chauvin over me? Absolutely not. He got to sit down. I know that jury was shook. They got to move the trial to a neutral vicinity. They need a whole new judge. And it's got to be away from wherever the protesters are. But I still think the nigga guilty, but I think he deserves a fair trial, and I believe that this shit ain't done. This shit ain't done, and I think this could be opportunity for him to get off and bring them riots on back. This story ain't over.
But, you know, another thing I want to add to, and this is, I always say about the shine, niggas is clout chasing and they want, like, he could have just said, hey, man, I'm going to stay anonymous. I'm going to write a book, you know, and that's that. You know what I mean?
Right.
He couldn't wait to be on TV. Couldn't wait to be on CBS this morning.
He was on there this morning?
He was on CBS this morning. No, the TV show.
Talking about what?
He was talking about the trial. They interviewed him and everything.
Oh, he grifty. He real grifty. He trying to get that coin.
Yeah, man, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, that's something I would have, you know, I would have tried to make some money anonymously, but trying to attach my face to it, I don't know, man. He niggas simple, man. They're like niggas dumb as shit.
Yo, the grift is undefeated.
That grift is strong, man. Beware the dark side of the grift, man. Just like the force, the dark side of the grift is a dangerous. It's quicker. Remember Yoda said, "Is the dark side of the grift stronger? No, quicker." You know, remember Yoda told Luke quicker? That's the same thing.
The dark side of the grift is quicker. Oh man. Yo, hold up. We gonna need some Star Wars grift shirts now. The dark side of the grift. The dark grift. Lord
That's
have
damn
mercy.
Shame.
I mean, can you be mad at him though? Juror 52. I'll be on CBS this morning too. I ain't even gonna hold you. So you had me sitting down in the goddamn court, going through all this shit. I done missed on hours of work. It's family time. Hey, I need to pilot that into some book sales or something. That's a good grip. I'm gonna say that's a smart shine. That's what I'm gonna say.
We're gonna see. I'd have wrote a book. I just sat back and wrote a book. I ain't coming. I'm not doing no TV. Hell,
You could write a book anonymous and whatnot.
why can't you? Pen name? This shit just come up with a pen name. Say you was a juror on the journal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I seen Maxine Waters and I got scared.
Somebody called him Dark Grifter.
Griff Lord. Darth Griftius. The Grift awakens.
I think the unfair part about Derek's was Maxine Waters and them pining in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Biden getting in on it. That was the unfair part about it. They shouldn't have said anything about that.
Yeah. He was practically calling for insurrection and violence. So, he was definitely out of bounds. Even the judge had to say something about her.
Ken Hotep, the boy's shirt said, Get your knee off our necks. My God.
That's true. It did say that. It definitely said that.
Oh, that's a done deal. It's a wrap.
The thing is, like, you can't get a mistrial or retrial, whatever, just off of that. But that, along with some other things that happened during the trial, that plays a major role in getting the retrial. The fact that this dude was obviously biased. And not only that, I believe he was campaigning previously saying we need to get on some of these juries to convict these police officers.
It's bias right there.
Yeah, shout out to Tim Pool. I was watching Tim Pool's coverage. He got like a 20-minute video, you know what I'm saying, the homie. And I was watching this coverage, and that's one of the things he reported was who blatantly said, we need to try and get on these juries. So, and then he successfully did it. I don't know, man. It's some. I need to pour some of this more white man liquor.
That's strange that they would even. Hold up, man. Like none of his attorneys. See, Johnny Cochran would have found that out about them jurors, man. They would have fucking, because why didn't they find this out beforehand? Like, you got this guy's name. All you got to do is you got all the jurors' name. I'd search all the social media straight from the jump. They might not have time for it, but now it makes even more fishy.
Yeah, if Johnny Cochran's on the case, that brother would have been walked. The prosecution would have been settled.
That's funny. I got to think about that because now it makes me think they put that guy on there on purpose and him on TV on purpose. Remember, they don't put nobody on TV unless they want him on TV.
That's what Milo said. Milo said, he said, don't you think it was in their best interest to have unrest following the trial? And he's right? Like it leads to division of the nation and so on and so forth. But that was my response. I said, Milo, case ain't over yet.
Right.
This thing is far from over. So you might be right. This thing. And the thing is, when it bubbles over, the response might be even crazier. Mm-hmm. Right? Like when you're expecting a guilty verdict, it's like you get a certain type of energy. But when you get the guilty verdict and then it's overturned, oh man, they might blow Minnesota off the map.
If you want them to be railroaded, then you can't say nothing when they railroad brothers in the court. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what it is for me? It's not even that I want him to see a fair trial.
I want him guilty without no shenanigans.
Correct.
Don't put all this extra shit on it so they can have people like, well, they did this and did that. No, make it fair and square.
Yeah.
So there's no discussion about it. No, there's no acquittal or talk or nothing.
Right.
Now you're going to leave it open to all this other stuff. And now you're going to and when he gets in, see, y'all got to remember, see, this is why the white man always outthink the shine. He 100 steps ahead.
Bring it.
Now, what if they thought hey, let's put some sugar on it. Let's screw it up. Make him guilty. Let him go on to acquittal. Mm-hmm. And here y'all go ride and tear the shit up again.
Boom. That's my point. It's the setup is what we worried about.
Right.
They setting y'all up. This has nothing to do with Chauvin or George Floyd or a guilty verdict. It has everything to do with the setup. That's what we're trying to expose to you.